Have you ever scrolled through history books or biographies of icons like Carl Jung, Einstein, or Mandela, and thought, wow, my life feels so ordinary compared to theirs? It's easy to feel small when we measure ourselves against legends, whose lives seem packed with cosmic achievements and unwavering purpose. But here's the secret. No one tells you your life isn't a competition with greatness. It's a masterpiece in progress. Let's get real for a sec. Those little things you do daily, the quiet battles you fight, the tiny wins, the moments you choose courage over fear, that's where magic happens. Your value isn't tied to fame or changing the world overnight. It's woven into the messy, beautiful journey of becoming you. And guess what? Even Jung, the genius who mapped the human psyche, would agree. Carl Jung talked a lot about finding meaning and understanding yourself better. For him, life's purpose isn't about what you achieve, but about who you are and how you choose to act. Jung believed humans have a psyche, which includes both what we know about ourselves, the conscious part, and what we don't realize or understand, the unconscious part. At the center of our consciousness is the ego, which knows who we are and how we see ourselves. But there's much more beyond the ego, things we don't know or avoid. In the depths of our unconscious, where we store things we don't understand or ignore, lies what Jung called the shadow, or our dark side. In this hidden part, we can find clues to understanding our purpose in life. Each person's purpose is unique and only makes sense to them. Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who created analytical psychology known as Jungian psychology. He wrote many important books such as The Psychology of the Unconscious, Man and His Symbols, and Modern Man in Search of a Soul. In this video, we'll explore the steps Jung suggested to discover how our hidden side, or dark side, can help us find our true purpose. Jung said something very important. Things will become clear to you only when you look inside yourself. Whoever looks outside dreams. Those who look within awaken. This means each person has a unique purpose, different for everyone. To understand your purpose, you first need to truly know yourself. Many people think they already know themselves well. Maybe you believe you understand your personality, strengths, weaknesses, and desires. Because of this, you might want to jump straight into finding your purpose. But Jung taught that to truly know yourself, you need to go through a process called self-realization. He believed we all have two parts, a conscious part, what we know about ourselves, and an unconscious part, what we don't realize or understand. The shadow, or dark side, is the hidden part of our unconscious, where we store desires, emotions, and traits we'd rather not face. For example, your shadow might include feelings like laziness, envy, or anger, or even hobbies and interests you consider shameful. Because the shadow lives in the unconscious, we often don't realize it exists. These parts of us have been repressed and forgotten for so long that they no longer appear in our thoughts. Instead, we cling to our persona, which is like a mask we wear to gain acceptance or admiration. This persona changes depending on the situation or the people around us. It's the role we choose to play. Understanding and connecting with your shadow takes effort. Jung called this shadow work, which means looking inside yourself and recognizing this hidden part. Start by reflecting on your actions, thoughts, and feelings daily. A good way to do this is by journaling or meditating. Ask yourself, why did I act this way? Was this really what I wanted to do? What was my first reaction in a given situation? How would I feel if I were in the other person's shoes? Jung taught that knowing your shadow doesn't mean being defined by it. Recognizing that you feel angry, for example, doesn't mean you're an angry person. It's important to accept that these feelings are part of you, but not all of who you are. Another way to notice the shadow's influence is to observe how you judge others. Often, what irritates you most about someone else's behavior may reflect something you fear in yourself. This is called projection. When you realize you're judging someone or getting angry about their actions, pause and ask yourself, have I ever acted like this? Why does this bother me so much? Could this trait be part of my own shadow? Asking these questions helps you understand yourself better and find balance between what you show the world and what you keep inside. According to Jung, the things we criticize most in others often reflect what we're repressing in ourselves. For example, someone who criticizes selfishness a lot may be hiding their own selfish thoughts. Similarly, those who can't tolerate impatience in others may be fighting their own tendency to be impatient. Taking time to reflect on these behaviors, perhaps by journaling or meditating, is an important step in uncovering hidden parts of yourself and getting to know yourself better. Making shadow work part of your routine is key to living a truer, more meaningful life. Jung said, "I don't want to be just a good person, I want to be a complete person." After learning about your unconscious and perhaps discovering some traits you'd rather not have, you might wonder, how can this help me improve my life? It's possible that understanding yourself better will make you feel worse at first. That's because once you recognize your flaws, you can no longer pretend they don't exist. Jung knew that discovering who you really are can be difficult and frightening. Many people think that if they hide the parts of themselves they don't like, those traits will disappear. For example, someone who suppresses their anger might seem kind, and someone who fights laziness might seem productive. But pretending these traits don't exist won't solve the problem. In fact, hiding them can make them stronger. They stay inside you, waiting to surface when you're tired, stressed, or going through difficulties. People who don't accept their anger are the ones who tend to have angry outbursts. Similarly, those who ignore laziness can end up overwhelmed and burned out. Now that you know your shadow, you can start dealing with it in a conscious way. Everything you find in your shadow can be used to your advantage. Anger, for example, isn't bad in itself. It only becomes a problem when it's exaggerated or out of control. If someone hurts you, anger can be a force that helps you protect yourself. The big question is, when does it make sense to act on an emotion, and when is it better not to? When is it useful to wear your mask or persona, and when can you be yourself without needing them? By thinking about your emotions more carefully, without simply labeling them as good or bad, you can improve your life and well-being. Envy can inspire you to work harder. Laziness can signal that you need rest, and impatience can help you act more quickly when the time is right. Instead of ignoring your shadow, the goal is to integrate these aspects into your personality. Your shadow isn't there to harm you, but to teach you something important. Those traits you try to hide are part of who you are and will always be with you. When you accept them and learn to live with them, you can truly grow as a person. Self-knowledge and the ability to use all sides of yourself are key steps to discovering your purpose. When your shadow is integrated, you become more complete, balanced, and in harmony with yourself. By working with your shadow, you discover who you really are, making it easier to understand what you want and need from life. Working with your shadow and improving yourself is an ongoing process. There will always be room for growth, and every step you take toward becoming a better person adds meaning to your life. According to Jung, you are what you do, not what you say you will do. This means that when you know who you really are, understand how to handle your dark traits, and are clear about your beliefs, you need to demonstrate all of this through your actions. Purpose isn't something you discover just by thinking, it's something you create by acting. Jung believed that self-realization should be reflected in what you do, not just in what you say you'll do. If you want to be a certain way or achieve something, you need to take action. Don't wait for life to become meaningful on its own. Give it meaning through your choices and actions. Many people live reactively, responding to what happens around them without taking control of their journey. Even those who work on exploring their shadow and improving themselves are only taking the first step. Working on yourself is essential, but it's not enough. If, after dealing with your shadow, you think you've done enough and can relax, you're limiting yourself. Standing still locks you into a meaningless life. So how do you start living more actively? The secret is to continually challenge yourself. Once you've explored your shadow and started improving based on what you've discovered, take extra steps. Ask yourself frequently, what do I believe in? What are my principles and values? What do I want to achieve this year and over the next 5 years? How can I contribute to the world? Write down these questions or reflect on them during meditation. Your answers will guide you toward meaningful action. For example, if you want to become an author and publish a book, dreaming about it isn't enough. Many people have this desire, but few take the necessary steps to make it happen. The same goes for any goal. Your actions, not your thoughts, define who you are and the life you build. Many people wait for the perfect moment or inspiration, believing that eventually everything will fall into place. But that's not true. If you really want to be an author, you need to change your mindset. A dedicated author writes regularly, even when they don't feel inspired. When faced with creative blocks, they seek advice, try new exercises, or experiment with strategies to keep going. They finish a story not just because they're motivated, but because they're disciplined. Then, they actively take the next step by contacting publishers, literary agents, or professionals in the field. Of course, not everyone finds meaning in career-related goals. Some people have more abstract or personal goals, like positively influencing future generations. This can be done in many ways: being a parent, teaching, starting an NGO to help young people, counseling youth, or even getting involved in politics. The most important thing is to decide how you want to achieve your goal and what actions you need to take. Whenever you reflect on your values and beliefs, ask yourself how you can turn them into practical steps. It's possible to live reactively, responding to what happens, but you can't find real meaning without taking action. Taking action means facing your fears. Jung said, "Where your fear is, there your task is." People often live reactively, not out of laziness, but out of fear. Action involves risks, and that can be scary. For example, if you have an idea for a book, you have to face the fear of disliking your own writing to start putting it on paper. Once the book is ready, you have to deal with the fear of rejection when trying to publish it. Every action involves the possibility of failure, which is why courage is essential. Courage doesn't mean not being afraid, it means recognizing your fear and acting anyway. If you ignore fear, it will retreat into yours shadow and control you even more. When you're faced with something you need to do but feel stuck, ask yourself, what could go wrong? How would I deal with it if it did? Focus only on what's likely to happen and what you can do to prepare. For example, if you want to publish a book, be ready for rejections from literary agents or even for no one to be interested at first. But also be prepared to find someone who believes in your work or to publish the book yourself. Don't waste time imagining unlikely scenarios like endless rejections or someone stealing your idea. These thoughts don't help. When you analyze what's causing your fear and prepare to deal with it, you're already tackling a big part of it. Fear may never disappear completely, but by minimizing it, you can act with courage. No one who has achieved anything important in life has done so by avoiding what frightened them. As Jung said, where your fear is, there lies your next task. What you fear can point to what will give your life the most meaning. In another's quote, Jung said, "Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness. Happiness loses its value if it isn't balanced by sadness." Reflect on this. If you know yourself, work to improve, act with determination, and take risks, does that guarantee a perfect life? No. Nobody has a perfect life. The most influential people in the world have generally faced great challenges because they're the ones who take the most risks. They don't let bad times defeat them and continue moving forward despite difficulties. Accepting the bad and disappointing moments in life is essential to finding meaning and purpose. It's precisely this mix of good and bad times that brings meaning to life. A life made up only of joys and triumphs would be meaningless because happiness only has real value when compared to sadness. You can't win without the possibility of losing, just as there can be no light without darkness. Whenever something bad happens, try to see it in a different light. Difficulties and mistakes are learning opportunities. Every time something happens, your reaction can teach you something new about yourself. Tough moments are essential for self-knowledge and help you better understand your shadow. For example, no one realizes they need to be more practical if they've never failed due to a lack of pragmatism. Likewise, no one discovers they're resilient and strong if they've never faced a situation that required these qualities. Difficulties shape who we are and help us grow. Imagine you wrote a novel and it was rejected by every publisher you sent it to. Or imagine you quit a secure job to go back to school and things didn't work out as you'd hoped. Of course, these situations can teach you valuable lessons and help you appreciate the good things that come your way in the future. But does that alone give your life more meaning? According to Jung, the meaning of life isn't just in achieving your goals, but in the process of acting and discovering yourself. He meant that your life doesn't gain value because you managed to publish a book or become a successful politician. The meaning lies in what you did to try to get there, even if you didn't achieve the expected result. The important thing is that you took action and made an effort. You become a unique person who is truly who you are, and that in itself is deeply meaningful. Giving meaning to your life is a process that never ends. You'll always be getting to know yourself better, setting new goals, and taking action to achieve them. There will be good times and bad, and it's this mixture that makes your life special. What do you do today that brings the most meaning to your life? It could be something small or big. Share it in the comments. It might inspire others who are looking for more purpose in their daily lives. Your achievements, failures, attempts, and determination are all part of your unique story. So, always be proud of the things you've tried, even if they haven't all worked out. It's from this effort that true purpose comes. Appreciate everything good in your life, even if it seems small. Be proud of every victory, no matter how big or small. Be grateful for the things that work out, and above all, remember, your life has a purpose as long as you continue to be the best you can be. However, if you find it hard to find or deal with this purpose, it may be that self-sabotage is holding you back. To overcome this, click on the video on the screen now and learn how to defeat it.